In this tutorial, we're going to be furthering the order management system by actually creating some of the templates for our login form. This order management system is going to be used with the course that I'm creating for Packt Publishing. That course is all about microservices. So if you want to learn microservices, then do check out that course. I'll put a link in the description and in the cards up here. What we're going to do today is we're going to be looking at templates. Now, with Flask, the micro framework that we're using here, Flask has support for what's called Jinja2. This is a templating library that we can use with our application. Today we're going to be focusing on Jinja2 in a very kind of basic 101 overview kind of way. We are going to be looking at Jinja2 in far more depth throughout this series because Jinja2 is actually quite a complicated, complex beast. It is quite powerful, extremely flexible. We can do filters, we can do control structures, we can do macros, we can do sub-templates, and we can do all sorts of other bits and pieces like forms and so forth that we're going to be needing when we're handling this login form. Now, in order to use the templating engine, in order to render that out and return it as a response, we need to import the utility render underscore template. So let's put a comma here and then render underscore template. So instead of just returning this string here, what we can do is return render template. Now, this takes an argument of the template name. And that template name is going to be the name of the file within templates in the app templates directory. So, for example, if I was to create a new HTML file, let's just create a new file. We can call this login.html. Let's just give this a title of login, and in the body here, let's just put in a h1 of login, like so, all in caps for now. In the app.py, what we can do is render that out. So that is the template that we've created, login. So we can do login dot and then HTML, like so. Also, what we can do with Jinja2 is actually pass in some parameters, and then we can parse those out into our rendered template. I'll show you how to do that in just a second, but for now what it's doing here is it's pulling out login.html from here, and that is what the return will be. Let's just make this a little bit different. So login to the system here, let's just put that as lowercase for now, login, like so. So if we go and save that, go back into perhaps the terminal, and then if I was to clear this down, do a down to remove, we don't need the -v here, to remove the container that we've created through Docker Compose, and then if I was just to simply do an up here, we can then hopefully go back to the browser and actually see the difference when we refresh the page. So going back to the browser, and we can refresh the page, and we now have login to the system. So now we are able to actually send proper HTML files, if you will, back as the response. So just as a recap, if we go back to the tutorial, what we've done in app.py is we've imported render underscore template, which allows us to call upon this method as a return, passing in login.html. So that actually gets returned. That is the response of this index controller. Login.html is right here. That's in the templates directory. Now, what we can do as a way of altering the structure to make it a little bit more perhaps user-friendly, a little bit more extendable when we have more than one template and sub-templates and so forth, what we can do is just change the structure here. So perhaps we have this as login, and perhaps we copy that and put that into here, and we change the name from login to index. Let's do the refactor. That's all good. And what we can do is change that to be login. So that's the login controller rather than the index controller. That is now going to login and then /index.html. Save that. Let's just change something just to prove that this works. So log into the system, please, or please log into the system. That's a better English. So please log in with a capital P to the system. Go back to the browser and refresh the page, and we can see that we have please log in to the system. This means now that we can actually start creating templates in HTML. We don't have to worry about the back end all of the time. In fact, this is very handy. You can give the templates directory to a front-end developer and they can create your front end, your very lovely looking glossy front end, and you can just worry around the back end stuff if you want. So the way I've structured this is I've changed that from index to be login, that is the controller name, and I'm passing that in as the first sort of part of this structure. So login and then index.html. I've called it index.html because that is the file that you land on. That is kind of like the primary index of the login controller. Of course, what you could do is you could have subdirectories in here. You could call them parts, you could call them partials, you could call them subtemplates or whatever, and then you could include those through Jinja2 from your quote-unquote base template here. We're going to be looking at how we can use base templates, parent templates, and so forth later on. But before we even dive into that, let's just take a look at what else we can do with Jinja2 from a more of an overview point of view. One thing that I would like to show you is how we can actually pass in parameters to the template. So for example, we could have a new argument here. We're going to call this test, and we're going to equal that to the string of foobar. And what that's going to do is it's going to send that string foobar, which is assigned to that variable of test, to this template, and we can spit that out in the template. If I was to go to the index.html file here, and then if I was just to do a space and then do double curly braces like so, inside the curly braces we need to put in that variable name, which is test. Let's hit save, go back into the browser, refresh the page, and we should see that we now have, if I can get to the browser here, refresh, yep, we can now see that we have that variable, that value that has been printed out, which means that we can do lots of powerful things now. Not only can we use strings, but we can also use different types. We can even use lists and dictionaries and objects as well, and other bits and pieces like that we can pass through into the template and actually pull bits out and so forth. So for instance, if we were in the app.py, we can actually create a variable assignment. Let's do name is equal to a string of temp name or whatever. Let's just do my name, so Peter and then Fisher. So what we've done here is we've created our name variable like so, and we've assigned it to the name of myself, which is Peter Fisher. We're passing that into this template here, and we're assigning that to the variable of test. If we go into here, we are printing that out. So if we save this and go into the browser, if we refresh the page, we can now see that we've changed this to be from foobar to Peter Fisher. And of course, if this was a user object that we have got from perhaps a database or some sort of external source, then we could do user.name or something like that within this template, which is extremely powerful. By using the Jinja2 library in this Flask framework for Python, we can create templates that we're going to be using throughout this order management system. Order management system that we are initially creating here, it's going to be used in the course that I'm doing for Packt Publishing. That course is all about microservices in Python. It's a hands-on course. It'll teach you all about microservices, how to build, how to architect, how to secure, how to monitor, and so on and so forth, all about microservices. So if you want to learn about microservices, then do check that out. I'll leave links in the description below, in the end screens, and so forth. But for now, though, thanks ever so much for watching. Happy coding. I'll see you again soon. Cheers. Bye.